see. What if I knew you? I know what you do. You love me at once, the way you did once upon. Oops. Hello? Hello? How do I do this? Okay, well, that's annoying. Let's try that again. La da la di da da la di da 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 da. What if I knew you? I know what you'll do. What if I? Okay, all right. This time it's working. No. Relax, relax in your bins, bro. Okay, why is this so hard? No. Relax in your bins. Alright, that's annoying. Bro. Why is this so hard? Okay, enough. Why do I have the desktop anyway? Yeah, I think I should just turn off the desktop. And then we're done. Cool. That solves the problem, doesn't it? Yeah, I think I should just turn off the desktop. And we're done. Right? There's not going to be an echo? But it still picks it up from the mic. Anyway, all right. Okay. Oh, no. Yeah, that's fine. All right. Yeah. All right. 3, 2. No, the other way. Other way. Other way. Other way. Other way. Wait. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. All right. 3, 2. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And welcome back to another episode of Quran in English. My name is Ahmad, and I am happy to take you through the next section of Surat Sad, the chapter of Sad, the letter Sad, which is it's new to me. And now we're back to story time, sort of. We talk about David, we talk about Solomon. So I find these verses easier to digest. However, the reading in the beginning might be a bit of a struggle because I was practicing it just now and it was not the greatest. So that brings me to what are we doing here? I'm here to read the Quran, learn how to read it and recite it. Well, I'm not practicing reciting perfectly, but I'm just practicing how to say it because I speak Arabic, but I'm not an expert. And I'm learning about the Quran and sharing my journey with you so that, I don't know, you might benefit from it, hopefully. But also this way I get to hold myself accountable, and this is the best way for me to learn. So this is how I can keep consistent. Cool. So if you don't like mistakes or you don't like issues, this is not the channel for you. But if you're happy to have a discussion and want to give me your thoughts, please feel free to watch and drop a comment. Thank you. All right. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وهل أتاك نبأ الخصم إذا تسوروا المحراب. New words. And has it come to you the news of the opponents? Yeah, here they've translated it to plaintiffs or litigants because they know what the story is going to be. But khasm just means opponents. So there are two that are opposing each other. Yes, it's a matter of law, and we're going to see it in a minute. But the word just means opponents. Two opponents when they climbed over the wall of the chamber, of the sanctuary. Mihrab. Sanctuary is a more accurate term. Place that is sacred. Chamber seems common. Sanctuary seems like it's your own space. It's kind of like your home, but kind of like your safe space. So that's kind of the idea. إذ دخلوا على داود ففزع منهم قالوا لا تخف خصمان بغى بعضنا على بعض فاحكم بيننا بالحق ولا تشطط واهدنا إلى سواء الصراط. When they entered upon David, he was afraid. He jumped. He was startled by them. Startled is the correct word. They said, "Don't be afraid. We are two opponents, two litigants. We have two plaintiffs. We have an issue. We have a dispute. One of us has wronged the other. So judge between us in truth, and do not be unjust, and guide us to an even path." The more that I think about his judgment, the more that I'm like, But anyway, they came in, two people opposing. One of them has wronged the other. Judge between us and guide us to the correct path. And the whole story about David is that he was full of wisdom and full of the righteous judgment. إن هذا أخي له 99 نعجة ولي نعجة واحدة فقال أكفلنيها وعزني في الخطاب. He said, okay, indeed, this is my brother. For him, he has 99 sheep. Ewes. I guess it's not a sheep, but it's an ewe. It's like a sheep-esque type thing. Something for an animal for pasture. And he has 99 of it. And he says, and for me, I have 1 ewe. Then he said, then the one with 99 said to the other, entrust her to me, give me your 1 ewe. And he overpowered me in speech. So this kind of seems like a close-cut case. One person has 99, the other person has 1, and then he forced him through speech to give him his last 1. That sounds terrible. However, I always go like, this seems too obvious. You know what I mean? Well, let's get to the next verse, and then we'll get to what is the explanation. قال لقد ظلمك بسؤال نعجتك إلى نعاجه وإن كثيرا من الخلطاء ليبغي بعضهم على بعض إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وقليل ما هم وظن داود أنما فتناه فاستغفر ربه وخر راكعا وأناب. Okay, so David said, certainly he wronged you by demanding your ewe to his ewes. He wronged you by demanding yours to his. And indeed, many of the partners will oppress some of them or the other. Many a partner has screwed over, did wrong, was unfair to one another, one of their other partners. Except those who believe and they do good deeds, and they are a few. قليل ما هم, and there are quite a few. And then David realized that this was a test, that we had tested him, and we being the royal wheel for God and more. So he asked for forgiveness from his Lord, and he fell down, bowing and turning in repentance. Okay, so what happened? He gave his judgment. He said, yes, you're wrong to take the 1 and put it into your 99. And he said, yeah, most people screw their partners over unless they're righteous and do good, but those are far few in between. And then he realized it was a test, and then he asked for forgiveness, and then he went down bowing. Which I do think it was a test. The moment that I heard about this, it felt like a test from the very beginning. It felt like, why are the 2 random people jumping over a wall to kind of figure it out? I definitely think it was a test. Now, for a test, it seems kind of obvious, right? 1 has 99, 1 has 1, and then the 99 forces to take the last 1 from him. It seems very obviously catered towards like greed, to like aggression, to like not extortion, but like, yeah, just like pressure, and it doesn't feel like it needs a lot of wisdom to resolve it, right? It feels like anyone would get the answer, which then for me, I go, okay, then is there a lesson behind the lesson? Was there missing information? What was the progress between the two? How had things been done? Like, I want to, for me, I want to ask more questions. Obviously, the answer is if you have 99 and you stole one ewe from your brother, then if it's just all that, that's all that there is, slam dunk, no issue. But if it is a test, why is it like this? Kind of seems very straightforward, you know? فغفرنا له ذلك وإن له عندنا لزلفى وحسن مآب. So we forgave him for that. We forgave for him that. Okay, so this is kind of actually very interesting. He realized it was a test. He asked for forgiveness. He bowed down, and we forgave him. Which means what? Which means he had made a mistake. Because it says specifically that. He made a mistake. I stand by it. There's something missing from the story to make the full judgment. You know? And indeed, for him, with us, is surely access and a good place of return. He will surely have status with the closest to us and a destination of return. So it's not saying that he messed up as in he's a bad person. It's saying that, yeah, he was forgiven and he is of high regard. And he's still, like, the Quran does mention that he is given a lot of wisdom many, many times. I just don't know if this is an example of that, for example. يا داود إنا جعلناك خليفة في الأرض فاحكم بين الناس بالحق ولا تتبع الهوى فيضلك عن سبيل الله إن الذين يضلون عن سبيل الله لهم عذاب شديد بما نسوا يوم الحساب. O David, indeed we have made you a vicegerent, a ruler, a lord, authority in this land. So judge between people in truth, and do not follow the desire, so that it will lead you astray from the path to God. Yeah. Indeed, those who go astray from the path to God, for them is a punishment that is severe, because they forgot on the day of account, the day of reckoning. In this, I find myself. Sometimes I find that I struggle to follow the path towards God. Like, I sometimes it's not that I'm like being a terrible person. It's just I'm not actively heading towards God and faith and studying and trying to be more on the path to God. So sometimes this feels a bit intense. But I do feel like that I always kind of come back to the path, at least for now. So maybe it's good. But either way, it's something that makes me worried of like losing my own desire. But what is it saying? David, we have made you an authority in the land. Judge between people. Don't follow desires and be lost. Those who get lost will suffer. Straightforward. وما خلقنا السماء والأرض وما بينهما باطلا ذلك ظن الذين كفروا فويل للذين كفروا من النار. And we did not create the heavens and the earth and what is in between them without purpose, or just for the sake of whatever. That is what those who disbelieve think. They think there's no point to literally everything that we're experiencing, which is wild. So woe is to those who disbelieve from the fire. I mean, I understand not knowing why things exist. having uncertainty or having lack of knowledge, but knowing people come and tell you, I'm telling you, there's no point to life, and I'm like, oh, okay, where'd you get this information from? They're like, no, it's just obvious, and I'm like, okay. There's definitely a point, and it does all kind of sync together ever so slightly. Some things just work, and if you can't see it, then boo-hoo for you. أم نجعل الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات كالمفسدين في الأرض أم نجعل المتقين كالفجار. Or do we make those who believe and do good deeds as the same as those who spread corruption in the earth? Or do we treat the pious, the righteous, as the wicked? كتاب أنزلناه إليك مبارك ليدبروا آياته وليتذكر أولو الألباب. Now, it's been talking to David. It's been here. It starts the talking to David. Oh, David, we have surely made the authority, and those are the people who are suffering. Then it continues. We have not created the heavens and earth and everything without purpose. So woe to the disbelievers. Or should we treat those who are doing good the same as who's doing bad? And then it says, a book we revealed to you that is blessed, so that they may ponder its verses, and so that they may be reminded those of understanding. The translators, of course, heard the word book and then added the word prophet, as if it's now talking to Sayyidina Muhammad, as if the Zabur is not mentioned as a part of the book. The Zabur was given to David. Part of the book was given to David. So I don't understand why you're now jumping to the Prophet Muhammad. And also it continues talking about David after. So it's talking about David before and talking about David after. But just this random verse is now talking to the Prophet? That makes zero sense. Anyway, I believe this is talking about the Zabur, because the Quran also told us that the Zabur is also part of the Kitab. Anyway, sorry, a little bit frustrated. It's a bit hot. I get a bit hot-headed. وَوَهَبْنَا لِدَاوُودَ سُلَيْمَانَ نِعْمَ الْعَبْدُ إِنَّهُ أَوَّابٌ. And we gave David Solomon. So Solomon was David's son. He was an excellent servant slave. Indeed, he was the one who oft turned for repentantly, turned in repentance. Blah, 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 blah. Awab, constantly turned to God, and the concept is that he faced God, he turned to God, he asked for forgiveness, he went for it. إذ عرض عليه بالعشي الصافنات الجياد. When it was displayed upon him in the afternoon, which is strange why this is in the evening is the word that I understand, but somehow they've written the afternoon. I thought Asha was evening. Ashi, is that different? I mean, they translated it here to evening, so I don't understand why this is saying afternoon. Anyway, it was presented to him excellent breeds, excellent horses that were like of pristine quality. فقال إني أحببت حب الخير عن ذكر ربي حتى توارت بالحجاب. Then he said, indeed I have preferred the love of good, the love of these fine things, over the remembrance of my Lord, until they were hidden in the veil. So I think here Solomon was also making a mistake. Do I have any water? I don't. Solomon was also making a mistake. He was preferring the horses and the beauty of the horses over the remembrance of God, until the horses were behind a veil, which I find it a very interesting expression, because it feels like they still exist, but he cannot access them. So it's considered a form of veil, especially if you're a ruler of that caliber, because he was David's son and he inherited a lot. And so for royalty, it's not that, if they're not gone, they just feels they're out of sight. And then Solomon said, ردوها علي فطفق مسحا بالسوق والأعناق return them to me. And then he began wiping his hand. It just says wiping. It doesn't say his hand, but it just says wiping. Like this is kind of wiping, but you can kind of do it on this. مسحا بالسوق والأعناق, over the legs and over the necks. Bring them back to me. Then he began to rub down their legs and necks. Now there is a footnote that I do not wish to read, because this footnote and the next footnote, I've read them and I'm like, they're wild. They talk about how they ran away and they made him forget his prayer, and therefore he cut their legs and neck, which I was like, what? That's a whole lot of no. The thing that immediately pops into my mind is Solomon is infamously known as the magic prophet and messenger. Not necessarily that he was doing magic, but also that he was doing magic. But he also had like jinn at his disposal. And we're going to talk about the jinn shortly in a few couple of verses. But like, this feels magical in nature. Return them to me. Then he began to stroke his legs, to stroke the legs and the necks. I don't know, but it's definitely not the violent description that I saw in this footnote, because it's just too much. ولقد فتنا سليمان وألقينا على كرسيه جسدا ثم أناب. And then we tested Solomon, and we placed upon his throne a body, and then he turned in forgiveness and repentance. Is the idea. Again, this footnote has a crazy story about how he wanted a child with his wife, but he didn't say inshallah. He wanted a child that does good for God, but he didn't say inshallah, so the child that he had was deformed, and this is the body that they're talking about. Some of these vivid descriptions have nothing to do with what the Quran is saying. All we know is there was a body, there was a chair, and that caused Solomon to turn in forgiveness. Yeah, Anab is yeah, it's a different version. There's Awab we were talking about, and then Anab, right? Yeah, Awab repeatedly turned, and Anab, which is turned once, I guess. Yeah. And then when that body happened, and I don't know why, the body that I imagined in my head was not a child's, but a man's, his, somehow. I'm thinking Ghost of Christmas Past, Ghost of Christmas Future, seeing his own demise, kind of, but I don't know. Either way, it doesn't say. My imagination runs wild. All it says is there's a body on the throne. And after he saw it and turned in forgiveness, he said, قال ربي أغفر لي وهب لي ملكا لا ينبغي لأحد من بعدي إنك أنت الوهاب. Interesting. He says, my Lord, forgive me and grant me dominion or a kingdom that will not belong to anyone from after me. Indeed, you are the bestower. Okay, the one who gives. Several things are being said here. First of all, he had to turn for repentance. Then, after he turned for repentance, he asked for a kingdom that he'd never seen before. And honestly, the descriptions of what he'd seen just seem phenomenal. Because he was, and we're going to talk about it a little bit. But he also asked for something that's so egotistical. Like, it's huge. Give me a kingdom that has never been seen before? Why? I mean, I could never ask for this, for example, because I don't want this. But it also feels like a lot. It feels like the wish that a lot of people have. That they want to rule the world, that they want to have at least the most glorious way to rule the world while they're around. And if anything, we do know that this comes true. And so we've seen the verses of David and we've seen the verses of Solomon, and both of them, it indicates as they needed to do something where they turned for forgiveness, and then they were granted a lot. So there is a lesson in humility. Even for the one who had the biggest kingdom, it is God that granted him and not him. And he knows that it was God. And because he truly believed, he could ask from the bottom of his heart. I sometimes wonder what I would ask for from the bottom of my heart. And I don't know. I don't really have a desire at all. Yeah. فسخرنا له الريح تجري بأمره رخاء حيث أصاب. So we subjected for him the wind to flow by his command gently wherever he directed, wherever he points. وَالْشَيَاطِينَ كُلٌّ بِنَاءٍ وَغَوَّاصٍ. And the devils of every builder and diver. Because we talked about the diver who went down to the jinn dive to get him pearls. And someone once said that jinns made a smokeless fire, and for them to go in the water is terrible and painful. Therefore, it's truly only the strongest of strong can go dive. But I think it's missing the point that some jinn are... Anyway, let's not get into it. I do not wish to speak about that which I do not know. That's the first. وَآخِرِينَ مُقَرَّنِينَ فِي الْأَصْفَادِ. And others bound together in chains. Oh. Jinn's not the right word. Shayateen. Devils is the right word. It could be that the devils are also jinn, but it does not say jinn. Because it says some of the devils builders and divers, and some of the devils in chains. Which I wonder what that means. Very interesting. Why would devils in chains be of value? And like the ones that weren't in chains have a lot of power, because we talked about it in a different verse where before he blinked his eye, the guy brought the entire throne of a lady from her palace to him. Which those things are strong. So what about the ones in chains? You. هذا عطاؤنا فمنن أو أمسك بغير حساب. This is our gift. This is what we give you. So grant or hold on to withhold without account. So give or withhold as you wish, and never to be called an account. So he was given a lot. And he was told you can do whatever you want with it. Also, out of curiosity, the errors that they made, David's error was that he gave a judgment swiftly. And Solomon's error was that he loved the physical things more than he loved God. And so he was shown something to make him realize that he was wrong, and he turned to forgiveness, and then he was granted everything. Interesting. And then he was granted everything and to give however he wishes. وَإِنَّ لَهُ عِنْدَنَا لَزُلْفَى وَحُسْنَ مَآبٍ. And indeed he has for us a stature of closeness and a good place of return. Isn't this the same what it said about David? Oh, this is... وَإِنَّ لَهُ عِنْدَنَا لَزُلْفَى وَحُسْنَ مَآبٍ. And indeed for him is with us surely near access and a good place of return. It's the exact same verse. وَإِنَّ لَهُ عِنْدَنَا لَزُلْفَى وَحُسْنَ مَآبٍ. Yeah. Got the repetition. So it said the same thing for both. وَاذْكُرْ عَبْدَنَا أَيُّوبَ إِذْ نَادَى رَبَّهُ إِنِّي مَسَّنِي الشَّيْطَانُ بنصب وعذاب. Remember our slave Job, when he called to his Lord, indeed the devil, not a devil, the devil has touched me with distress and suffering. اركض برجلك اركض برجلك هذا مغتسل بارد وشراب. Strike with your foot. This is the water to bathe that is cool and to drink. Stomp your foot. Now here is cool, refreshing spring of water.
Hang on a second. What?
The devil has afflicted me with distress and suffering, so stomp your foot. This is something that is cool and drinkable, which just indicates that it's water. Mughtasan, something to bathe that is cool and drinkable, which is why you assume it's water.
But is the idea that you're trying to cleanse yourself? Question mark?
ووهبنا له أهله ومثلهم معهم رحمة منا وذكرى لأولي الألباب. And we granted for him his family and the like of them, with them a mercy from us and a reminder for those of reasoning. Now, in the Christian retelling of events in the Bible, which comes from the Old Testament, which comes from the Jews, to be honest, the story was that Job was tested, and his family, his wife had died, and his children had died, or no, his children had died. I think his wife and children, I'm not sure. But after all that, because he held strong and he believed, God brought them. Now, the word that they use is the like of them back. So in the Christian version, it's they just brought them the like of them back. But here, it says, we've granted for him his family and the like of them. So the way that I understand this is not just his family, but it kind of grew and they expanded and they doubled. However, I could be wrong. It could be the like of him, and maybe he brought them back and he doubled them. I don't know. With them as a mercy from us and a reminder for those with reason. I do not have the reason. I do not understand. وخذ بيدك ضغثا فاضرب به ولا تحنت إنا وجدناه صابرا نعم العبد إنه أواب. And take by your hand a bunch and strike with it, and do not break your oath. Indeed, we found him patient, excellent as a servant and a slave. Indeed, he was repeatedly turning. But I like that this is Awab, and his name is Ayub. Ayub Awab. It just sounds like interesting. Alliteration. So they said, take in your hand a bundle of grass and strike your wife with it, and do not break your oath. Huh? No. Take in your hand a bunch and strike with it, and do not break your oath. It doesn't say a bundle of grass. It says, take with your hand a bunch and strike with it. Now let's see what this footnote is saying. Job was afflicted with losing his children, community, and long illness. Only his wife stayed with him. He once became angry with his wife and vowed to give her 100 lashes if he recovered. When Job's affliction was lifted, he became remorseful of what he said. To help Job fulfill his vow without harming his wife, God ordered him to strike her with a bundle of 100 blades of grass. That's a lot of context that's not in the Quran. I just don't know what this means. وَخُذْ بِيَدِكَ ضِغْثًا فَاضْرِبْ بِهِ وَلَا تَحْنَتْ. So strike with it and do not break your oath. I mean, it could make sense. Indeed, we have found him patient, an excellent servant and slave servant, and indeed he is repeatedly turning. واذكر عبادنا إبراهيم وإسحاق ويعقوب أولي الأيدي والأبصار. And remember our servants, our slaves, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the possessors of strength and vision and insight. إنا أخلصناهم بخالصة ذكر الدار. Indeed, we have chosen them exclusive quality as a remembrance of the home. We truly chose them for the honor of proclaiming the hereafter. Indeed, we have chosen them. We have chosen them for the exclusive quality of the remembrance of the home. Okay, so we entrusted with them the remembrance of the home, and we kind of entrusted them to kind of share that duty of the remembrance. وإنهم عندنا لمن المصطفين وإنهم عندنا لمن المصطفين الأخيار. المصطفين الأخيار. And indeed they are for us the chosen ones, some of the best and the finest chosen. واذكر إسماعيل واليسع وذا الكفل وكل من الأخيار. And remember Ishmael and Elisha and Dhul Kifl, which we kind of understand to be known as a prophet or a righteous man. Those who maintain that he was a prophet identify him as various biblical prophets such as Ezekiel, Isaiah, and Ubaidah. Oh, I thought it was Dhul Qarnayn. Yeah, he's mentioned before. Or I think he's mentioned multiple times. Is he mentioned? Quran versus Dhul Kifl. Surah Al-Anbiya 21. Yeah, it's mentioned in 21, 28. Yeah, they mention as Ishmael Idris and Dhul Kifl. Here, Ishmael Elisha and Dhul Kifl, which is like, yeah, Dhul Kifl means the one of responsibility. The one, yeah, a man of double share and double guarantee. We don't know exactly who he is, but interesting. هذا ذكر وإن للمتقين لحسن مآب. This is a reminder, and indeed we are for the righteous, and for the righteous indeed is the best place of return, have the honorable place of return. جنات عدن مفتحة لهم الأبواب. Gardens of Eden that will open for them the doors. متكئين فيها يدعون فيها بفاكهة كثيرة وشراب. They are reclining in it, and they will call in it for fruit of many and drink. Heaven. We're talking about heaven. Anyway, that's it for today. صدق الله العلي العظيم. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you, and I'll catch you guys next week. Inshallah. مع السلامة. Bye. Bye.